In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up and use the TW-283 wireless remote by Pixel with your DSLR camera. Alright, so here's the user manual. I'm going to show each part of it here a little bit. If you need to pause, you can look at it. And what the locations and stuff is. How to set everything up. And the other side here, because I'm not really going in order here. Introduction. Different shooting modes. So I noticed the remote, you can set it to bulb or continuous or single shooting, but you have to set your camera to the corresponding setting as well, so I'm not exactly sure the functionality there, what they're trying to do. Kind of defeats the purpose if you have to set it each place, but maybe I'm missing something. This here will come in handy on how to set up the remote for scheduled shooting, and I will show you that here in just a second. Alright, so to turn on the receiver, you have to long press the power button here, and it'll blink and show channel 1 if I can get it in focus. And at that point the receiver is on. And then with the remote, same deal. Power button, we're going to long press, and it'll start up. So we're in channel 1 here. I think there is, I forget how many channels there are, but multiples if you need to. Oop, dang it, going through the menu here. So we're in single shooting mode. I'm going to push the left button. This is to continuous shooting. Bulb. Delayed shooting. Delayed till between shots and the number of shots you want to take. And to change one of these, press the center button. It'll blink. You can change the quantity or time value there. And then while it's still blinking, click the arrow down here to go over to it and change the number of shots. And to change the values, like 4, you want to go 6. You push the up button twice, and then center button to OK it. And channel, I don't think this would come into a situation unless you have multiple people with the same remote, and you can set them up on different channels. And then scheduled shooting. I can get some light here. So scheduled shooting is was a little bit challenging to figure out. The diagram on the paperwork that I showed a second ago is helpful, so I'm going to go ahead and bring that up here for 1 second. Alright, for scheduled shooting, this diagram comes in pretty handy explaining how it is. So the first option here is delay. That's going to be the amount of delay from the time you push the start button here until this sequence begins. So if I set it to 5 seconds like it is here, I'm going to push start when I'm ready. It's going to wait for that 5 seconds one time and then start the sequence. Going over to the next option here is long. This is actually your exposure time, and to have this work you have to be in bulb mode in your camera. If you're not in bulb mode, it's just going to take the exposure at the speed that you have it set on your camera. So put your camera in bulb mode if you're wanting to use that this exposure time. I have it set to 4 here, so it's going to wait that delay that I had. It's going to take a 4-second long exposure. And going to the next section, interval is between pictures. So it's going to take a 4-second long exposure. In this case, it'll wait 1 second. It'll take another 4-second exposure. And N1 is the amount of times you want that to repeat. So 3 here, it's going to do its delay. It's going to take the 4-second long exposure, wait a second, do it again, and do it again 3 times altogether. One of the cool functions of this is if you keep going over, you can put a repeat value and actually repeat the same sequence that you did in another time. So if you were to put repeat, say, push the center button here, you can even do it to like an hour. And so at this point, it would do its thing with the 4-second long exposure 3 times, and then it would wait 1 hour, and then it would repeat the same sequence again, over again. And you can have that repeat as many times as you want. In this case, it would do it, wait an hour, and do it one more time, total of 2 times. If you wanted just to do that and not repeat the same sequence, change that value to 1, and then it's just going to do that one sequence. Delay time, I think, between delay here, it's minimum of 1 second, maximum of 99. Same with the interval, and I think the exposure time as well, and the repeat value. In fact, all of them. It's 1 second to 99 seconds is the choices that you've got. All right, we're on the remote here. Delay time, again, is from the time that you push the button, the start button, until it starts the sequence. So in this case, I'll set it up to say 5 seconds. Long is the exposure time. Let's go with 4 seconds. I already had it set there. So it's going to be a 4-second exposure as long as your camera is set in bulb mode. If it's not, it won't do that. So 4-second exposure. Interval between pictures, 1 second. So I'm going to leave it there. And repeat, or N2, I'm sorry, N1 is the number of pictures you wanted to take. So I'll set it to 3. So beyond that, the repeat. So if it's at 1 second. Well, first, if I don't want it to repeat, I'm just going to go to the next section here. It's not focusing very well. N2. If it's at 1, it's just going to do that first sequence 1 time. If I want it to repeat again, so do that whole sequence twice, I'd set it to 2 or 3 or up to 99 there. Going back here to repeat, that's the length between the last picture that it takes in that first sequence and when it starts the sequence again. So I'm going to change that to 6. All right, so one more time. It's at 5 seconds. I'm going to hit the start button. It'll count down 5 seconds. It's going to take a 4-second long exposure. It's going to wait for 1 second and take another 5-second or 4-second exposure. And it's going to do that 3 times total. Then it's going to wait for 6 more seconds and repeat the whole sequence again 1 more time. So there'd be 2 total times that it does the sequence. So let's give it a shot here. Counting down, 2, 1. There's a 4-second long exposure, waited 1 second, another 4-second long exposure, waiting 1 second, and repeating the 3rd time. Now it's going to wait for 5 seconds, and it's going to do the same sequence over again, 1 more time. So this could be pretty handy in a number of cases. So fiddle around with it and, find out what works. And yeah. So it's finished the sequence there and stopped. So going over to single exposure, if I push the shutter, it just does 1 single exposure. Now if I go to continuous exposure, or continuous shooting, sorry, and hold it down, it's not doing the continuous shooting, and I'm actually still in bulb mode, so let me go here. So I am in, what mode am I in? I'm in single shooting. So in single shooting, that's all you can apparently do in here. If I'm in continuous shooting right here and hold down the button, it should, in theory, continuously shoot, but it doesn't. So going over to my camera, if I go over to continuous shooting, then continuous shooting will work. But going back to single shooting mode again, it's still, and my buffer's filling up there, still in continuous. So I'm not exactly sure what the point of being able to swap here is if you still have to swap in your camera anyways. Maybe if somebody else knows, they can inform me. If you do, let me know in the comments below. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start playing around with this thing more and put it to use. Definitely feels like quality, and I'm already very happy with it. Doesn't feel cheap, junky plastic like a lot of cheap Chinese-made stuff is. So yeah, thanks for watching.